Have you guys ever seen Ad Astra? It was a Brad Pitt space movie that came out a few years ago.
I never saw Brad Pitt in space, no.
So
Matt Damon, however.
So Ad Astra is this film about Brad Pitt's father, who was kind of this pioneer in space travel, and they traveled so far out. But in the movie, I'd only seen it once, and in the movie, everything starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller the further they go out into space. And it's just, to me, it seems so claustrophobic. And I think that's the thing that I associate with space travel is the claustrophobia. And I can't do that. 7 minutes in heaven with me would be hell.
Let me out! Just scratching on the door.
Why does this doorknob not work?
You realize you're just in a closet, Brian. We're not actually in space.
It's
I'm
just
freaking
like
R. Kelly. Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, Diddy, what's up?
Jesus.
All right.
This is PODCASTNV.
Now I have some more serious questions. In attempting to do some social media stalking, I noticed that you have an acoustic guitar with your name on the headstock.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Did you have that done, or was that a gift?
I had, all the way to the beginning, this was 2019. I think summertime 2019. I was at an open mic at Cult Classic, shout out Cult Classic, Stevensville, and just nothing better to do on a Tuesday, and went to the open mic and saw this cat there playing, and a semi-hollow with like lightning bolt F-holes.
Okay.
And I was like, that's super. It's like
a wider body.
Yeah, it's like it kind of like a 335, but instead of the F holes, it had like these sick ass lightning bolts. I talked to the guy afterwards. I was like, dude, what the hell is that? Like,
He's like, there's a guy down the street. He'll do whatever you want, man.
he was the guy.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, oh, I built this. And I was like, you build guitars? He was like, yeah, mostly acoustic stuff. And I was like, hey, have you ever built like something like a J200? Because at the time I was looking at J200s from Gibson, and I was just obsessed with it. But they're, a bottom rung J200 that might as well be an Epiphone is like $3,200 bucks or something.
Yeah, that's pricey.
So I was like, hey man, have you ever made like a J200? And he was like, yeah, I made one last week. Like, do you want to try it out? And so I tried it. It sounded incredible. And I commissioned him to do an all black J200 kind of copy, not exactly the same, but it's Wald Guitars, W-A-L-D, Wald Guitars out of Stevensville, and we're a few months in, and then COVID happens, so it took a little bit longer with the finishing shop and all that stuff, and putting the finish on, just the supply pipeline stuff made it a little bit longer to finish, but mid to late 2020, it got finished. And I was going back and forth with my own ego about like doing the country music thing of putting my name in mother of pearl on the fretboard. And I was like, what if I get into a band?
Yeah.
I just fully cannot play this guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
And even if I'm alone, what does it say about me that
Like how where's the confidence level versus the skill versus like how people perceive me?
and
yeah.
It's different for someone like Johnny Cash, because everyone knows who the fuck Johnny Cash is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Me having my name on there people would be going, it's Gage Rhodes.
Is that the guy from Pet Cemetery?
Is that the guy from freaking Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. Johnny Cage.
But
Finish
yeah.
him.
So I kind of split the difference and put Rhodes on the headstock instead of he usually puts a W or Wald on there.
You were like, no.
Well, I was like, I
It's
don't want
my
to do
time
this.
to shine, asshole.
No, he was incredibly involved, incredibly just fantastic with every. I like guitars. I'm maybe more knowledgeable than the average bear, but I'm not super passionate about the minutia or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But he, at every step, would be like, this is what I'm thinking for, like, here's these kind of woods.
Almost like he's painting or doing something.
Or like a
nature.
tattoo artist. Even.
Yeah, sure.
Every step he, the one I remember specifically is there's just a teeny little thin veneer on the headstock that just makes it look nicer, takes the finish a little bit better, whatever. And that's what everything gets inlaid into. And he was like, well, do you want, I want to say it was like East Indian ebony or like South Indian ebony. And I was like, well, is there like is there a tonal difference? And he was like, no. And I was like, well, how do they look? He's like, pretty much the same.
So then why are you asking me this question?
And it was like, do they cost different? And I was like, no. And I was just like, all right, just show me like whatever you think is best, and like just show me whatever pieces you have, and I'd just pick one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's super cool. It looks fantastic. You can only really see it in the light, but you do see like the ebony like pieces in there under the finish. So it's super neat. Like, it's a super great guitar. I'm just paranoid about bringing it out places.
Yeah,
I understand.
Are you going to bring it to the show on the 18th?
More than likely. A lot of the time it's if I'm doing a gig like that, or something that's a little bit more fast paced and I don't have the time to retune.
Right.
About half my songs are in DADGAD or Open D, or some other weird tuning. So I use the walled guitar for that, and then I'll use my regular guitar for standard, typically.
And the regular guitar is either Gibson or Martin?
Neither actually right now. I was playing a Yamaha LS26 that I got in trade for a Martin single 018, I think. It sounds incredible, plays incredible, but yesterday I bought a Collings D1. Okay. Which is more or less a Martin D18. It's a bluegrass guitar.
Do you have multiple guitars at the ready just in case you blow a string or something happens unexpectedly, battery dies or something crazy happens, and so you just grab your next guitar and then pop right back in?
Typically not. Wow. For
living on the edge,
especially for I'll call them bill paying gigs, bar gigs, stuff like that. I only carry the one. I am at times a little much about the maintenance, and
so you always know the condition of the guitar walking into a gig is kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah, and I carry a just full gig emergency kit in my gig bag. It's got bandages, it's got 9 volts, it's got the little watch batteries for the tuner, it's got
a couple of tourniquets,
extra string. I mean, there's probably a tourniquet bouncing around in there somewhere. But
can I segue for 2 seconds?
Yeah,
feel free.
The tourniquets comment.
Yeah.
So we had a gig 2 or 3 years ago, and I blew a string, and I'm singing lead, and Tim's playing rhythm, and I'm playing rhythm too, and you're playing the congos. This is actually at Preston's in Manassas.
Okay.
And part of the reason I remember it for 2 reasons. One, my wife has it on film. Two, Two, I remember how pissed I was that I popped the string. Like, I just wasn't in the right mindset. String pops, and I wrapped this while I'm playing. Tim was playing rhythm, and I paused, and I wrapped the string around my finger, and I meant to rip it out. And as I pulled, it didn't come out of the socket. It cut into the part of my finger, and blood went all over my guitar. Ugh. And I was so pissed. And I just remember immediately feeling faint. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, I just severed my goddamn finger in front of a live audience at a bar at a gig where we're getting paid nothing.
It's all for naught.
So I just remember that. And it was fine. I didn't sever my finger, thank God.
It was a cut, though.
Oh, there was a deep cut. And then, of course, I'm like, fucked for the next gig or two. And I got to bandage the shit out of it. And they got it was this hand and not this hand, because I'm right-handed strumming. And anyway, so.
Yeah, I am obsessive. I only play elixirs, not in like a snooty way, but no. I don't have the time or the energy.
What are some of the ones that you've tried that you don't like? Because there's some new ones that have come out where I'm like seeing the ads and I'm like, I don't know, should I do it or not?
Rook Richards he tried to sell me on String Joy.
Yeah, that was one of the latest ones that they've been advertising heavily.
Still haven't tried them yet.
Okay.
But it's at this point, anything that isn't coated, my hands are so like, I just tear through strings, especially in the summertime. I'm playing dock bars.
Yeah.
The air is salty. I'm sweating. I'm getting the sweat all over everything. It's going to chew right through them. And then the second gig that I play with them, I can't slide really. They're just so corroded.
Yeah.
So I just have used elixirs for a little while now. And, I know approximately how many gigs I can get through with them. And if I take it out and, they're feeling weird, all right.
Yeah.
As soon as I get home, and I have made...
Just do an overhaul.
I've made everything super easy on myself. I have, you can get a drill bit.
Yeah.
And I just...
Yeah.
Just NASCAR pit stop.
It honestly takes like 5 minutes to do the whole set.
And it's so easy. And, every 2 to 3 string changes, I'll pop out the battery, throw one in there. And then I'll use the half dead one for something around the house or something stupid, like something that's not going to kill me.
Yeah, like a smoke detector.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Whatever's available. whatever's at arm's reach.
Yeah. Just lick it a few times, and
that's
when I'm out of coffee around the house.
Just give it a fresh charge. Bacon, I'm going to ask a favor of you.
What's up?
I'm going to ask you to start from the beginning, like you love to, because there are some things that we covered before we started recording that you might be interested to have answers to now.
I have 2 questions left. Is there anybody in your life that, especially when you were kind of coming up and like working through the musicianship, that really inspired you or mentored you or encouraged you, that really made a difference in you making music kind of like something that you are pursuing as a career versus like as a hobby?
Ooh, good question. There were a lot of folks on the shore that were supportive and kind of showed me the ropes. I think the defining one was when I got to Annapolis around 18 to 20. I was doing open mics, and I had to get in quick and get out because it was, before 10 p.m.
Yeah,
like 10 p.m. get the fuck out. But Scribe, who's another musical guy around, and Charles Cavusi both encountered me at those open mics and were willing to be like, hey, come do this showcase at like this real venue.
Yeah.
At 49 West, which is still up and running, doing great songwriter stuff. So from there, it was I was kind of under the collective wing, and they would go, oh, you should meet this person, and that person would go. They would ask what I do, and then they'd hear me, and they go, oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
You should meet this person. This person would really dig this.
Yeah. And then over what course of time is this happening?
I mean, years and years and years. But it kind of not exploded, but a slow explosion of just, oh, this person would really like you, or this person would really like your music, or you would really like this person's music.
It's a development.
Yeah, and it would be, okay, cool. Like, where are they playing tonight? And we'd go down there. And then when they turned 21, it helped a lot more because I could stay out later and see everybody's sets. But yeah, Charles Cavusi and Aaron Yieldhall, who goes by Scribe and Cavusi respectively, they both were super supportive in a concrete way instead of just like, oh, we wish the best for you.
Like willing to help make connections, provide accurate direction kind of thing.
Yeah, and it wasn't even, at least not to my knowledge, let's get this kid some stuff. It was just, hey, this dude can hang. This dude talks about the same weird stuff that we do. You know, I have a friend that I think would enjoy being around Gage. Let's introduce them. And it kind of grew like that from there. And also Laura McKay, she runs a venue called Paris Underground now, but she was putting together a bunch of like pop-up shows and stuff like that. And she's just such a phenomenal supporter of the scene and the arts. And there wasn't an all ages venue in Annapolis for a long time. So she goes, okay, cool, let's make one. And so now she runs Paris Underground. And it's,
someone who's passionate about it that actually takes action kind of thing.
And there are so many young people that are incredibly talented, and they, without a space to let them figure that out and work through that and get better and play in front of crowds. Because if you just play in front of your parents for, up to 6 years, you're still relatively green when you get in front of a bunch of like sometimes pissed off adults.
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
Or people that just have opinions that they feel they need to tell you freely without reservation. You're
sometimes
like, cool.
Sometimes
thank you for your input.
Scream over you while you're actively playing.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Oh man. I mean, at this point you've probably seen it all as we have.
I've seen a lot.
The only thing we haven't gotten is things thrown at us, like in Roadhouse, the band in Roadhouse, with the chicken wire. So we haven't had that, but we have had people shout at us, talk over us, try to touch our instruments actively while we're playing. And it's like, okay, security.
Or like even try to engage in conversation with us in the middle of a song.
Yeah.
It's like,
I had somebody do that. Actually, I told my wife this one of the last shows I had. It was a few weeks ago, and I'm in the middle of playing my last song of the first set, and she comes up and she goes, "Hey," and I'm actively singing. She's like, "Hey," she puts money in the jar and she goes, "Hey, my husband wants you to play Purple Rain," and I was like, "Okay," and so I finished my song. And I have my phone plugged in to the system to play music in between sets so that I don't have to ask somebody, so that there's no silence. Like, I'm just providing continuity. And I looked up Purple Rain and I put it on the Spotify list. I threw it on there and I just looked at him from across the room. He didn't look over at me or anything. But and I told my wife that and she was like, "God, you're such an ass." And I was like, I don't fucking know how to play that song.
Yeah,
so
like,
I played it for him. Who knows how much she put in the jar anyway? $1?
Right. Yeah,
I don't know. God.
That's I do a fair amount of
Purple
stuff.
Rain.
Of Prince songs.
Oh,
my whole Prince. No, not one single one. The fuck? Absolutely not.
That could be your secret. You're just getting it out now.
He's over here partying like it's 1999.
I was 3 years old. I don't have any reference for what it was like. No,
he got hit by a truck and brought back to life, for Christ's sake.
It is incredibly flattering that people think that I can play Enter Sandman.
So you were joking earlier.
No, I can play it a little bit. I
Okay.
can't play the whole song because I'm one
Enough
dude
people ask
with
for
one
it.
fucking acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
So when people
yeah.
ask for
There's a
that
lot
shit
going
when
on in
we're
that
playing
song.
acoustic, I'm like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
But like
what do you
Purple
think it's
Rain.
going to sound
yeah.
like?
What do you?
Pantera.
What
No,
are you- what are
and
you
so when
hoping
I
for?
played Purple Rain for him off of Spotify, it's like an 8.5, 9-minute song or whatever. And I'm like, at what point did you think you heard me and you were like, yeah, this dude can play Purple Rain?
Right. The 16-minute guitar solo.
or Enter Sandman.
Hotel California is a lot like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
That's a
hey,
toughie.
you know that song has like a 7-minute guitar solo,
Yeah.
and it doesn't end. It fades out.
right.
Yeah.
There's no ending to that fucking song. It's
No.
just it's all shredding, and like
Yeah.
I can do that. You won't have a good time.
No, it's
Yeah,
not going to be
yeah.
as
You know.
great as you think it's going to be.
Or like conversely, sometimes the person that requested it is the only one, and I'm like, actually, dude, you've been holding me down all night. Cool. Here's this weird tune that you want to hear. Like if I know it enough to butcher it,
Sure.
it's like like, do I know Simple Man by Skinner? Do I know it that well?
Right.
Not really. But if someone is like, oh, we just got married and like
That was our
this
song.
is like something like that.
It's
It's
a
like
weird song.
you know.
People
Dog,
have
it's-
asked for weird
Man,
stuff.
it's the Eastern Shore.
Yeah,
There's
you're right.
there's a lot. But
Speaking of doing private events, somebody
Yeah.
asked me to do their wedding. And well, so first they didn't tell me it was their wedding. They just said it was a private event. And as we got closer to the date, this is the one that we did.
Yeah.
But it was the 3-part. It was
Yeah.
me solo, us as a band, and then,
And then
DJ.
DJ, yeah.
It was fucking weird. Anyway, no, it wasn't weird like I hated it,
Yeah.
but it was just a lot for me to put together for them in a way that I thought that they would appreciate.
Yeah.
Because it was their freaking wedding. And I'm like, I don't know. So, because I kept asking them, I was like, are there any specific songs that you guys want to hear for this event? I'm happy to accommodate, but I need some advance notice if it's songs that I don't know that I need to learn. And they said, yeah. So that it was then that they told me, yeah, so this is our wedding. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so this is a very good opportunity for you to tell me exactly what songs you want to hear. I also have all these other songs. They're like, yeah, we're okay with all these other songs. And I'm like, but it's your wedding and you're going to be walking down the aisle. What song do you want while you're walking down the aisle? And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, I don't know either. So I gave them some options. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to just be like, I don't know what you want. You want to come to the problem with solutions.
Yeah.
And so I threw out a bunch of different songs. I was like, do you want Hootie and the Blowfish? Only Want to Be With You. I was like, do you want this? Do you want that? I was like, I recently learned Here Comes the Sun. They were like, yeah, that sounds great. And I was like, oh, thank God. We've agreed on a song. And
Ironically, it rained on their wedding day. So.
it did rain on their wedding day, and the bride was late, and I ended up actually playing the song like 7 times while she's slowly coming through the space. But anyway, it worked out fine, and they loved it. Haven't heard from them since, but I don't know.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's fucking Friday. Got paid. Client was happy. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. All right, I have some other questions.
It's all you. The spotlight.
Do you want to cut to the chase?
I don't necessarily need to.
Because we can do the this or that.
How many questions do you have?
Well, I was going to get into what was your job before you decided to become a full-time musician.
Okay.
So what was your job?
I could have sworn I asked how many questions do you have, and he was like, "These are the contents of my
I
question."
have a few. Have you warmed up that button enough?
Bacon, please hit a different button.
Gage, Gage,
Please hit another button.
be ready. Oh, he did it.
It's this or that.
This or that. I love these.
This or that.
All right, Gage. So this is an A or B selection situation. There is no in between, but you are more than welcome to try to, explain the reasons why you chose A or B or not.
Good luck.
So speaking of boots, I noticed tonight, now I don't know if they are of a particular textile, but The first question I had: rattlesnake skin or cowskin boots?
Ooh, I'm gonna say cowskin.
Cowskin.
Like your exotic boots, your ostrich, your rattlesnake. They're nice for going out, but they require so much care and attention. And I like being
You're already spending that time on your guitars.
I like to be able to step in a puddle and not really give a shit because I'm wearing boots.
Are they porous? Is there like a thing that?
Not typically, but if you get boots real wet, then they'll start to stink.
You can see it. Or,
Gross.
okay.
But
yeah.
you'll notice like it's very bad for the leather. So I'm fine with my Red Wing boots have held up so far. I walk through snow and all that shit. I'm not trying to. And rattlesnake boots are so expensive. They're like $500-600.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't spend that on shoes, let alone ones that I can't.
Fuck up.
If I spend $600 on anything, it's on my body at all times.
Sure.
Like I would have to sleep in those boots to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So if anyone's listening and is interested in purchasing a gift for Gage for the holidays, it would be rattlesnake skin boots.
Yeah.
In that same space, if we are getting dressed up for a performance, are we looking at a bolo or a bow tie?
Ooh, many decades ago at this point, it would have been a bow tie.
Yeah.
But now it's a bolo if a bolo is comfortable. I've learned a lot from bluegrass cats, and if it's not comfy, I'm not wearing it.
Okay.
I
feel like bolos are pretty comfortable.
bolos again like the boots. You put it on, you cinch it, you're done. I don't have to do any of this.
Set it and forget it.
If it's too tight,
Is that what you were going to say?
I was going to say, yeah.
Exactly. It's just easy. I have them hanging on my wall. I pick one, boom. It's on. It's done. I don't have to keep thinking about it.
Yeah. I dig the look that you have going on. It's interesting. It's like watching you perform is like, it takes me as an artist to a whole nother place. And I'm like, what could I be doing differently? Like, how do I get to be as cool as Gage? What am I doing wrong?
Just wear whatever you want.
I mean, that's true.
Whatever you
wear whatever you want.
Truly,
whatever speaks to you.
You would most like to be wearing in any given moment. Wear that.
So I'm going to dress as the lead singer of The Neighborhood with holes in my sweater.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Fair.
So we talked about guitars.
That's a 10-year-old joke.
I know. It wasn't great. It served a purpose. We talked about guitars earlier. Two of the primary guitars that I've seen you perform with, I'm going to make you choose one or the other. I feel like I already know what the answer is, but for clarification, Martin or Gibson?
Ooh. Gotta be a Gibson.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
Yeah.
They're just especially the ones that I've played and owned. I've had a bunch of a gear nerd, had a bunch of guitars. The Gibsons they weren't always perfect, but they always had a very specific vibe and a specific feel that is just, it's very unique to Gibson.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to take things in a slightly different direction. Horseback or horsepower?
Ooh.
You were talking about driving a Mustang, but not riding one.
I like that.
I've ridden horses before, and I'm not pretending to be a cowboy. But to clarify, I could not do cowboy shit.
Didn't think that you were trying to pretend to be a cowboy.
I get it a lot because I like to wear Stetsons and I like to wear boots and stuff. I could take or leave. I like horses, but to me, a horse is a motorcycle that doesn't want you on it.
Yeah.
I would
That's
rather.
a good way of putting it.
Their eyes are so dark, it's hard to trust them.
They know. It feels like they know my soul.
What are they looking at? right?
Your innermost being.
I know.
Yeah. And
that's how I feel.
They're judging.
It's scary to me.
I prefer. Well, I'll say horsepower. I like
right.
a motorcycle. I like a nice car.
Fair enough.
Nothing against horses. Horses, stay out of the comments.
Hank,
Mr. Red's going to be all up in them.
yeah. Hank Williams or Hank Williams Jr. So this one's a tough one. I'm going to let you take this one, and then I'll tell you what I think.
I'm gonna say Hank Jr.
Yeah.
I think Hank Jr. I love Senior, but I think Jr. got what he was doing. Got what he was. He knew the job and he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
More of a groove versus kind of a country vibe, maybe. I don't know.
I think, assuming that they both were pretty honest and pretty upfront about, what their lifestyles were.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hank Jr. is just a little more interesting, and he was a little more willing to do something weird.
Mm-hmm. Maybe because he knew he had the money.
You're Hank Williams Jr. You're probably gonna be fine, no matter what.
Yeah.
And Hank 3 is an example of that. He's even weirder than Junior, but yeah, I would say Junior. He's the right level of weird for me.
Okay.
He's willing to throw a phaser on something and talk about getting drunk, and there's just so many good Hank Jr. songs.
Okay. Fair enough. So do you watch HBO Max or do you watch any HBO programs?
Some.
Okay. How long might have you been watching HBO programs?
Probably a couple years.
Okay. So at this point, everything's on HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
Like everything that they produce. I've watched this show before, but I recently started getting back into it just because perhaps a lack of interest in other shows that are coming out otherwise. So my question is, between the two, Boardwalk Empire or The Sopranos? I know they're not the same.
It's
an unfair question.
I haven't watched either.
You haven't watched either?
I haven't watched either.
Wow.
That makes two of us.
I thought this was...
Oh my God!
I've seen a couple of episodes of The Sopranos, but I have
fell
not watched.
asleep.
No, I
thought-
didn't. It wasn't Lord of the Rings, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a Barry-based question. I've gone on record several times about my love for the show.
Such a great show.
Barry is good.
Barry's the best.
What
TV that
happened
I've
in the
seen.
last few episodes of the last season? They just skipped ahead years in advance. His kid's 12 years old now.
Yeah. That
Spoiler.
I don't want to spoil it. Barry is still a relatively new show.
I loved Barry too.
Barry
but
was
they only had
so good.
3 seasons.
Yeah.
I think the
so.
first
3
two
or-
was
yeah, 3 or
him trying to
4.
figure it out, and then the third one was the one where halfway through it skipped to the end. And
That threw me for a loop at
Right.
first. I was like, what is going on? Can we pick, what's going
Can
why,
we?
why are we here?
Is this a dream sequence?
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
something. Yeah. All right, I'm moving on. Play the music.
How
Come
many,
on,
how many,
sir.
how many more do you have?
Oh, I got several. We've been
I'm going to lightning round these.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on. Hit the button. Jesus Christ, turn it up more. I want to feel it. Up. All right. We talked about this briefly earlier. Cigarettes or cigaweed?
Oh, man.
That's a tough one. You said lightning. Let's go. Come on, Bolt Master.
I think weed's better and weed's better for you.
Yes.
That's true. Very true. So cigaweed.
I do prefer edibles just
Oh, okay.
because everything else makes me cough like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of things that I would like to quit, cigarettes are on that list, and weed is not.
All right. So we are embarking on fall, actually, as of September 22nd.
Yeah.
It is officially fall.
Sure is.
So, Gage, are you a fall or a spring guy?
Ooh, gotta be fall.
Yeah.
Gotta be fall.
Is it just because it vibes with your motif?
A little bit.
He likes the spookies.
I do like weird stuff. I like
You like
Halloween.
scary movies?
I don't watch them as much as I used to, but I'm a big fan of horror. Anything creepy or weird. I mean, I have a love song about Mothman, so that's the kind of heat that I'm bringing to
The
the
super natch.
yeah to the. I'm super into ghosts, aliens, anything.
We got to
anything creepy.
intro you to Shelley. What?
He's totes down with the super natch.
That's what I said. Isn't
I've
it?
decided I'm actually not.
That's why I had to repeat it. 'cause
I'm
it was really
extremely
I
fun.
didn't
devout
say
Catholic.
snatch. I said natch.
Yeah. It was,
All
I
right.
had to
All
repeat
right.
that. Continue.
So I'm unsure if so you have the Mustang, but do you also have another mode of transportation?
Not anymore. I used to have a couple motorcycles, and just had to grow up and like stop spending all that money on them. This was when I was still working full time, so I didn't have time to. They were older Harleys, so I would have to spend four evenings out of a week.
Yeah.
Like in pieces,
Wrenching on
Yeah.
it and like,
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
right, cool. I need to clean the carb and all that stuff.
Well,
So-
the question is road trip on a motorcycle or a road trip in the Mustang?
God, both are uncomfortable. I rode down.
right.
I rode down to Georgia.
Take that,
on,
Ford.
on a motorcycle.
Were you looking for a soul to steal? Sorry.
You had it almost.
that one took me a couple extra seconds.
Yeah.
Damn it. I can't believe I fucked
No,
that up.
I think the right motorcycle will be much more comfortable, but I would rather do it on a bike, for better or worse. I think it's a much better way to travel and see the country.
Okay. All right. In terms of food, actually, we didn't touch on food at all, like what you're into, what you're not into.
I think that's okay.
Do you enjoy spicy food?
A little bit. I have a normal kind of
Tolerance
appetite
for
for
heat,
it. Yeah, I when I was a lot younger, did like those spicy food challenges and like the 50 times hot ramen or whatever. And now I have indigestion. So
Oh, man.
anything with the word,
My body has told me what I like and what I don't like.
it's time for me to retire from that. Anything
Yeah.
with the word rodeo or buffalo in the name, I'm just not fucking eating.
Yeah.
Well, now, is that to the extreme spectrum of a certain heat, or are there certain foods that you still enjoy that like have a little bit of spice but don't ruin the meal kind of thing?
At this point, I know if I have something pretty spicy, I'm just gonna have to eat some Tums, and that's a thing that I've come
That's
to
not the
accept.
worst
about.
case
No, not at
scenario.
all. They're necessary evils. Nothing that I routinely eat that's very spicy. I've kind of gone down, I guess, a parallel rabbit hole of just well seasoned and extremely seasoned stuff. Being down in New Orleans, all of the food there is incredible. I didn't know that food could make you feel emotions. I thought that was some hippie bullshit.
Now you know.
And I was in this breakfast place eating a crepe with like kind of misty eyed, and I was like, okay, this is. I didn't know they made them this good. But yeah,
Okay.
to answer your question, nothing Typically very spicy.
Well, so there might be two trains of thought, and this is truly where the question is coming from, where you might doctor something with a hot sauce, or you might cook something with a hot pepper. So would you prefer a hot sauce or a hot pepper?
Definitely a hot sauce. I'm a hot sauce on eggs, hot sauce breakfast foods.
All right.
I think the hot sauce there does really well in, kind of setting it off. But
And there's the option.
you can kind of control it a little bit more, and you can but I even that I prefer like a garlic jalapeno sauce or something
Sure.
like that, where it's more about the garlic than it is about the heat.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd rather something be well seasoned and like more complex than just, just crazy hot. Like I said, I was going to lightning round these. I'm doing so fucking bad.
I know. They're so.
I'm sorry.
God, Brian, these questions are so good.
They're so thought provoking.
Everything I have to say is nuanced.
Well, I'm going to skip over a couple just because I think some of them we have actually already covered in the interview.
And we're almost into our third hour. So.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
I love to talk.
All right, so I'm going to ask you then 2 out of the 3 questions that I have left.
Lay it on me.
Okay.
One of them is safety or success.
It's got to be success. A French teacher I had, middle of the school year, was moving to Australia. We were 14, 15, did not understand it. And on the board, she wrote, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are made for.
Yes.
And that has stuck it stuck far longer than any of the French. I'm sorry, Madame Corpella.
She's there. She's
living her best life.
She's wherever she needs to be. She's not in the classroom anymore.
No, she's living her best life.
Yeah.
But that truly, it did stick with me. And it's like, what again, not to be morbid, but at the end of stuff, who ever says like, I wish I was safer?
Yeah.
Well, don't think too hard about that one.
Don't make it political or whatever. But truly, I would agree with you on that. I don't think any of the 3 of us or others listening to the show that are also musicians or risk takers would have chosen safety over success.
Yeah.
I mean, not success at any cost, but success, like feeling confident, accomplishing the things that you've kind of set out to accomplish, kind of thing.
And not for nothing, when you get a certain amount of success, safety comes along with it. Because you have the
you
wherewithal.
make mistakes, you learn from them, and you kind of figure it out from there. Yeah.
Or you can just buy it because you have so much money.
And it
Must be nice.
I think it
Elon up in
does
his
merit
ears.
saying that it is a privilege of mine to have enough safety to not choose safety.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that as, someone who has, parents to fall back on and all that stuff. If I were in a different position, I didn't have a house to live in or I didn't have the incredible community support
Or
behind me,
support system.
then I might be like, fuck that safety. Like,
Yeah.
fuck that. I want to be able to eat. I like
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah. True story.
Yeah.
Me too. I love eating and drinking. All right. Anyway. All right. Fuck it. Gage, it was awesome that you joined us
Absolutely.
tonight.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for coming out, making the trek.
Let me talk for 3 hours.
Yeah, man.
Well, do you want to say it? I usually say it. So you say, take us home. But you say it in dramatic fashion, however you feel.
Take us home.
This podcast was produced and engineered by Michael Bacon from Bacon Wade Productions in cooperation with Revelry Media Productions. Video is provided by Brian Johnson. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on our latest episodes. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at PodcastRNV and on TikTok at podcast.nv. Send us your thoughts over email at feedback@podcastnv.com.